Hi there, and welcome to the Curious Collective podcast, conversations designed for the conscious community to bring awareness to those holistic approaches that are there to help us live our best life. So I encourage you to extract from these conversations the wisdom and knowledge of our guests to heal, transform, and live as your true soulful self. Today with us, we have the beautiful Mikalena Knight. It is an honor to have you here. I'm going to pass it straight over to you and allow yourself to introduce to the listeners.
Hey there, Katie, and everyone tuning in. As was just mentioned, I am Mikalena Knight, and I am a coach, mentor, guide, all of those things. And there's lots of other things that infuse into that as well. But I'm so excited to be here today. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And the reason I did bring you on is I absolutely love and get so much out of your knowledge around astrology. I know that you do so many things. You've got so much wisdom in so many areas, but your astrology is really what speaks to me. So did you want to introduce like what you do with astrology, how you work with astrology within your current business?
Well, I have come to astrology a little unexpectedly. I have been in business now for over 8 years, and I was intending to focus on business coaching. But while astrology has been a part of my life since I was very, very young, I think we had our first astrology book in the cupboard before I was even 10.
I love that.
I wasn't even intending to take the astrology path. I've been on a spiritual path since 2009, but it wasn't until 2020 when I met a master of Astrosophia, which is a very, very obscure lineage of astrology that not many people have heard about. And I had a couple sessions with this beautiful, incredible woman. And for the first time ever, I got a true insight into the power of what astrology can really be in someone's life. And that opened the path for me, really. It changed my life in so many ways, just that few sessions. And that's when I know I wanted to learn that. I wanted to learn that kind of astrology so that I can help my clients in the same way.
You got super curious and you explored it. I love that.
I think it's in my blood. Like if I look at my astrology chart, there are a couple areas where astrology is named as something that I will be naturally drawn to. But it's always existed in my life. There's just something that I've consulted every now and then, but I've never really trusted it as something that could guide me through my shadow, through my light, to my potential, to my destiny. But that's what I was introduced to when I had those sessions with that incredible, wise, phenomenally powerful woman. And so I've been on the path of learning as much as I can. And I'm doing a certification in evolutionary astrology. And I'm also dabbling in esoteric astrology. So the kind of astrology that I do and that I use and that I teach is quite different to what most people experience.
Yeah, I was going to talk into that. I was going to say, before working with you, my knowledge of astrology, it was very basic. I've been following a little bit of the moon cycles, but more like your old school zodiacs in the magazine where you read it and you're like, this doesn't even apply to me in any way, shape, or form. How could anyone bracket it into this Sagittarius? There's hundreds and thousands of us. How is this, reflected of me where I'm at right now? So yeah, when you showed me how it weaved throughout my whole thing, when you showed me my birth chart, I'm like, whoa, like mind completely blown.
Well, humans have a tendency to glimpse at the surface, have that first experience of something at the surface and make decisions based on that. And unfortunately, a lot of the teachings out there are based on what people see at the surface. So I know there's a lot of teachers out there now saying that others are wrong because they're teaching something that way. And I don't actually believe that anyone's wrong. It just really depends on what depth that we want to take things to. And there are a lot of teachers out there who do basic courses and then go on and teach it without really diving in below the surface. Whereas it's in my nature to go below the surface. I've got so much Scorpio in my chart. When I find something I'm fascinated in, and when that curiosity is ignited, I have to find out more about it. I have to go deeper. Why does that do that? Why does that happen that way? And that's what's happened with me with astrology. Why does Aries have that impact on someone's life? Why does my Scorpio lead me into this? And I'm quite blessed to have this, because it's this search for knowledge and wisdom and understanding that gives me the ability to see beyond the surface in the way that I do. And that's why I chose evolutionary astrology. And that's why I work with esoteric astrology as well. So our natal chart is like our energetic coding. Everything in our natal charts shows us the map of our evolutionary destiny. So our sun sign, which people use to label themselves and define what they do in their life and how they're going to respond to things, but our sun sign is just one tiny little fraction of who we are. It's our core energy. Everything else in our natal chart moves through our sun sign, but that doesn't define who we are. There are multiple other planets, so many other planets, and then not just planets, the incarnation points, and then the nodes, and then the goddess asteroids. And then there's other points like our vertex that other people don't normally talk about. And for those who go on longer journeys with me and do the business work with me, they're the things that we look at to really identify, well, where do you need to be going in your business? What are you truly aligned with? And when I see women wake up, shed that confusion off them, like, what am I supposed to be doing? Who am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to be teaching? We can shed that away and bring awareness to what is my purpose. What is that supposed to look like?
And that bringing awareness that you said there, like, I know when you took me through mine and you were speaking into all the different, like, as far as I knew, I was Sagittarian and that was it. And, you know, you were showing me my moon and my sun and all the different ones and just shining such light on it. And when explaining it and going into it, I'm like, yes, that is. Yes, I felt that. Yes, I know that. Like, and I could really, it really spoke to me. And it fascinated me because it was purely off basic set of details, what were the basic details that you need to do someone's like natal birth chart? Not even that much info, is it?
Do you mean what people need to give me to be able to run this kind of chart? Oh, well, birthday, obviously. Birth time, though, that could be the tricky one for a lot of people, because a lot of people don't have their birth time and their location. But the time and location are really, really important because that allows us to see the houses that your planets are going to be in on the chart. That gives us the incarnation points, like your rising and your midheaven and your descending node, for example. There's also other elements of the chart that we need to be able to really identify elements of what you're here to do. So my astrology that I teach is really supportive to entrepreneurs and women in business. That's who I help mainly through that. But there are some things that you can discover if you don't have your birth time, but there's also a lot that we won't be able to see without that as well.
Get into the nitty-gritty of it.
Yeah, because it's not just your sun sign. You have the zodiac that all of your planets fall into, but then those planets belong in what we call a house, which is a domain, you could say. So your sun, for example, Katie, is in Sagittarius, which you've mentioned, but that doesn't really define who you are. That is what you are in your nature, but how that expresses is through the house that it falls into. And your sun is in Sagittarius in the 12th house, which is the house of Pisces. So your fiery Sagittarius expresses in that deep, intuitive, emotional way. And you've got a lot of placements in your 12th house with Sagittarius. You've got your sun, you've got your Venus, there is your Mercury. We've also got Uranus and Neptune. So that's a big house with a lot of energy. So you've actually got a lot of Pisces in your chart as well. Even though you don't have a lot of Pisces in your actual zodiac blueprint. So these are the things that we look at.
Yeah, it's super fascinating. I love it. And the houses there, you mentioned before that there's 12 houses. Yeah, and is that, it's just circular, and I know you said I sort of sit within maybe one or two most of my things. Do you see some people be spread out between all the houses, or is it common just to sort of sit in one area?
It really depends on when people are born, because the planets and the asteroids keep moving.
Yeah.
They're moving around the Earth. So people born in certain decades, for example, may have a lot of planets concentrated in the same areas, whereas the planets may be more spread out. So you've got a very, very powerful stellium in Sagittarius. So anyone born around the same time as you would have those 4 planets or placements in that place. So that is the Neptune, the Mercury, the Venus, and Uranus. That's quite rare, having a stellium. But anyone born around the same time as you would have that. However, the house they would be in depends on the time of day. And the connections that those planets have to other elements of your chart will be different for everyone. This is why someone can be the same sun sign and be completely different in their nature and in the paths they take in their life.
That makes so much sense now. I was like, how do you work out which house you're in? Like, I've never really figured that out, but the time of day.
Yes, the houses can change in minutes. So that's one thing that's really, really important. I can run a chart for someone who doesn't have that birth time, but we won't know what houses they're in. So we'll have the what, but we won't have the how they express and why they express the way they do.
And there was another thing that I explored with you that I'd really love to talk about, and that's when you did my South Node and North Node. If you wanted to talk a little bit into nodes, but what I really loved was that you explained to me what my South Node was, and I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And then you explained to me what my North Node was, and I'm like, I want that. That sounds amazing. Can I have that? And you're like, yes, that's where you're going. So I'd love you to talk into that.
Well, the nodes is something I didn't know much about until I met the woman who awakened me into this type of astrology. It's something that is part of evolutionary astrology. So a lot of parts of astrology don't even really talk about the nodes, although it is becoming more and more popular. So the nodes are calculated by where the sun and moon cross on the horizon. It's complicated. That's all I'm going to say about that. But the nodes change approximately every 18 months. So this is one thing we can identify based on your birth date if we don't have your time. But the nodes are really your evolutionary destiny. You could say they are your mastery. You could also say that your North Node is your North Star. So a lot of people describe how they're looking for their North Star. You can think of your North Node as your North Star. So we have the North Node And directly opposite to that on our birth chart is our south node.
Mm-hmm.
How are these different? Well, our south node is our existing mastery, the mastery that we came into Earth already in alignment to. We're good at it. It's comfortable. It's natural to us. We're safe there. We feel like we can grow there and we want to stay there, but we actually aren't able to evolve. Yep. So the majority of humans who aren't on a personal development path or path of growth, you could say spiritual evolution or personal evolution, they tend to stay in the south node because it's pretty comfortable there. It's predictable. But our north node, it was first taught to me as our awakening mastery.
I like that a lot.
The mastery that we are designed to create in this incarnation. It's our evolutionary destiny. That is where our success, our freedom, our fulfillment awaits us.
Yes, bring it on.
The challenge is that is past our comfortable edge. So while that is our incarnation, we are destined to move in the direction of our north node. We've got to develop our personal and free will, even higher will, to be able to move in the direction of it. We have to learn how to be in our north node. We have to acquire skills and wisdom. We have to resolve pain. We have to forgive people and ourselves to move in the direction of our north node. We don't know what to do there. However, that is the path of our evolution. That is where we can expand and grow and build our wealth.
It makes sense to me. And having, like, seeing it, reading it, feeling it enables me or those that aren't sure to go, yes, that is what I want. I get it now. And maybe when lost or stuck or feeling like, oh, I don't even know what to do right now, revisit it and look at it and go, oh, that's right. Off I go. I really appreciated it because it was nice. It gave me the good feels,
Oh, it's a gateway. It's a gateway to everything that we desire, everything that we dream of, our vision. While we will try and build our business or build our life around our embodiment of our south node, that will only lead to pain. Not necessarily the acute pain of the loss and the sacrifices that we need to make to evolve, but that niggling discomfort of knowing that we aren't in alignment with our soul.
Yeah, there's something more, but we don't know what it is. And we're sort of like, there's something, but I just don't know.
Yes, and this is it. So learning about our north node can completely revolutionize our entire life, and it can disrupt
yes,
disrupt our life. And this is why I say people who come and do my mission mapping sessions do not change anything for 28 days. You are not to destroy anything. You are not to burn anything to the ground. You are not to completely change your life in any way, because that's what I did when I found out my north node. I immediately cancelled everything. I stopped selling my courses. I pulled everything down and I went to start again. But it's not as simple as that. You need mentors to help you on that path. And I didn't have that. I just ran straight into it. So it can be disruptive to learn that we are facing in the wrong direction. It can be. But if we really want to have success that is fulfilling and comes not effortlessly, but more easily. If we want to be enriched by the work that we do, then alignment to our purpose is absolutely vital. And that can be created through the north node. Now, we can shift past, we can step over years, even decades of personal growth by understanding this, by knowing our north node, by having a connection with our natal chart and understanding what our north node is and even the rest of our natal chart. We can avoid years, decades, even lifetimes of pain trying to figure it out. by working with a mentor who knows how to guide you through your natal chart, because this is the record of everything you are here to do, be, create, receive, achieve. And the North Node is a significant element of that.
I love it. It just shines out of you, this stuff. And I've seen you in action working with beautiful women in business where they'll bring up something that's, keep it like activating them or keeping them stuck, and speak into it. And you listen, observe, and there's knowledge given in the coaching realm, but then there's also like, and this, like this blanket of astrology knowledge, and the people are just like, yes, this makes complete sense to me. It's like this blueprint laid over the top that they're like, I get it now.
Yeah, astrology's changed everything for me. It's given me a tool, and it's given me permission in a way, because like you, I've got a lot in one house. My sun is in Aries with my Mercury. I think my Venus is in there as well. Yeah, my Venus is in there. I've got about 7 placements in Aries, but that is also all in the 12th house. So I was identifying really strongly with the fire of Aries, but I was dismissing that deep, even psychic, intuitive, spiritually connected energy of Pisces. So disconnecting from that, I wasn't able to access those gifts. However, learning about what that means through my natal chart has enabled me to go, this is part of who I am. And it's made sense. And I've been able to bring those two together. So I can use astrology intuitively as well for people, which I think is why it works so well, because I don't just look at people's birth charts and go, this is how it is. Well, how does this work for you?
Yeah,
what
really
needs to be
individualized. Yeah.
Because your North Node is in Cancer, and it's in the 7th house of partnerships and community. It's a very strong Libra, partnerships and connection. But that's going to express in people in different ways. Not all Cancers are going to express the same thing. Another example is me and my husband. We both have the same North Node, but his purpose is coming through as massage and body work and health and healing, the physical experience of that Taurus, whereas mine's coming through the wealth and the abundance element of Taurus. So they can express in different ways. So it's not just about looking at the data and saying, this is who I am. It's about learning in yourself how these energies want to be expressed.
Yeah, when you spoke to me about the it being in Cancer and the partnerships and things like that, I'm like, yes, because I'm all about like community, connection, collaboration. So when you actually said that, and you said, you'll probably feel most comfortable working with people that may be, a lot of their astrological signs in Cancer. I'm like, I looked at my main collaborators and I'm like, they're all Cancerians. That's why we all work so well together.
Yeah, and your descending sign is in Cancer as well. Your descending sign is the people you naturally attract into your worlds, be that for intimate relationships or business relationships. So I happen to have my descending node in a water sign. So I attract a lot of water signs into my business. And you've got a strong Cancer, which is a water sign North Node. So that doesn't surprise me. I've got so many Cancer clients. And Cancer is the archetype of the mother. And I feel you stepping towards the people that you want to serve, this real nurturing energy of, I want to support you in your healing. And that's really beautifully true of Cancer. And that's why I look at the archetypes of astrology as well, of the zodiac. So yeah, this can get really complex, and it's really fun.
So cool. Archetypes fascinate me. And I know you'd done archetypal work before you'd even looked at your astrology stuff, hadn't you? And so when you started in this world, it probably deepened that.
Oh, for sure. The understanding of the archetypes. I've done the sacred contracts work that Carolyn Meese created. And I have done other archetypal modalities with other teachers. Persona grata is another one I've done a little bit of work in. So all of that helps. Understanding the human experience and how the human experience works with the soul experience for humans to fulfill their destiny. That's the stuff that really lights me up.
Oh, me too. This stuff's fascinating. I could talk to you all day long.
I feel like we could talk all day.
If there, some of our listeners are really wanting to explore into learning about astrology and their natal chart and all those beautiful things more, what sort of advice would you give them?
It can be difficult to source the kind of information that I have been talking about today, because a lot of my learning comes from multiple sources, to be honest. I am doing a certification. That's probably about 5% of the knowledge that I have. I'm doing the certification really more for structure, not for the knowledge aspect. And in some ways, I've actually outlearned my certification because I go and find information from sources that are able to really give me understanding of what I want to be learning about astrology. But there's a beautiful book called What's Your Soul Sign by Debbie Frank that I would recommend anyone start with, because books are really the best place to go if you're not looking to invest in further training or mentoring with someone like me. So books, anything by Jan Spiller, she's amazing. She does soul astrology, so her work is phenomenal. But then I always have just a general reference book around, and I've got lots and lots of those around. So go to your local bookshop and flick through a couple of astrology books to find that general reference guide that you would want to learn from every day and resource. So I've got a general astrology book that I open every day, at least 3 times a day, because I'm still learning. I'm still wanting to go back to these sources of information. But those are 3 really great ways, or one really great way, with a couple suggestions on who you can learn from.
I feel that's great. That's a perfect start. And I mean, we're always still all learning. I love this stuff. I'm even gonna dive a little bit into the astrology work as well. And I love that you mentioned before the certification that you're doing is only 5% of it. And that is what makes it so deep when you do work with your one-on-ones or your groups, because you're able to pull and extrapolate from all the different modalities that you've done across the years, just to give that full expansive experience.
Oh, look, and I can say with conviction, I will own this now. It's taken a long time for me to get to this place of full ownership, but no one does what I do at this level. No one does. So the woman who I met, she does a 2-year journey, which is many tens of thousands of dollars. But her work is different. So, but no one teaches what I do at the level that I teach it. And I'm looking at doing some intensives, astro intensives, 2-day intensives, for those wanting to get started on the path. So you wouldn't have to commit to weeks and weeks, months and months, and hundreds and thousands of dollars to be able to learn this. So I'm working on those right now, and I have my mission mapping. Yeah, I'm taking action on that vision, and I have my mission mapping sessions as well.
Yeah, they're great. And something I really loved from mission mapping was that I got a beautiful resource document that has all of my information that I can just go back to. And I have been going back to it, structuring my offerings and my business moving forth. I'm like, oh, what was that beautiful information? I went back to my mission mapping document. I'm like, this is how I need to price my offerings. This is how I need to, engage with my clients. Like, it's really helpful.
Yeah, I've done offer sessions with clients where we've actually created offers based on their astrology. That's really, really powerful. So I have done that, and some of my clients do request that in the one-on-one work I do. But those mission mapping sessions, I should charge more for than what I do, because they're 90 minutes with me but they take hours and hours to put those reports together. So that will likely be going up in the exchange soon, or I may not be offering them for much longer.
Quick, get in.
To be honest, because it's a lot of work for that 90 minutes. So I don't know how long I will be putting that out there.
Well, I'm grateful I got in when I did.
But I'm actually looking at doing a full 8-week course for women in business who really want to step into the next evolution of their business and get highly, highly aligned through their message, through their mission, through their mastery. So it'll be an 11-week journey, I think. You're all the first to hear about this, actually.
That's exciting.
11-week journey, and we'll be using astrology every week to create your mission map over that 11 weeks. So it will be coming back, just not in the form it's currently being offered in.
That would be really potent, actually, especially if you were in that container with the same group of people. Like that'd be a beautiful group.
Be powerful. 11 weeks. That's the numerology number of alignment. So I'm in the process of creating that right now.
Listeners, you're the first to hear.
Wow, actually, I haven't mentioned this to anyone else yet.
Oh, wow. Curious Collective podcast, first to hear. Thank you so much for your time today. I've appreciated having you here and all of your knowledge and wisdom. Some people, it will just go straight over their head, but also I think plant some seeds of curiosity so they go out and at least check what star sign they are and maybe explore a little bit more into it. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I was so happy to be here. I hope I didn't overwhelm anyone, but you can always come and join me in my group Mission-Driven Women as well, and ask for questions there and get some support through there, because I am there.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mikalena. Bye.